The boulders they're authentic glacial erratic boulders. They're sourced from upstate New York, and they were deposited by the last glacier. Laurentide was a big glacier. And as it melted back 12,000 years ago, it, it deposited these boulders that it had been carrying. And so these were sourced up there, so authentic glacial erratic boulders. And so the structure is, I say it's as if it is a casting of the fractures of ice. It's an artistic notion. The fracture voids of ice are cast into these. So it's stainless steel, which where the finish has a reflection on it. It has a blue-green feel. Mm-hmm. And so and this area right here had 2,000 feet of ice 18,000 years ago, just above where we're standing.
Oh, yeah.
And so this is all formed by the glacier. And so it speaks to climate change. And this series of sculptures called Cracked Ice, I mean, these were three. So they speak to what's going on with climate change. And the history of these glaciations are they would extend and then they would recede. There's been a history of that over the last 100,000 years. But now with man's intervention with heating the earth, things are just melting. The receding is not happening. So these are, well, they speak to that. Everyone can take away whatever they wish, but they're authentic glacial erratic boulders on ice fractures. One of the sculptures is called, they have titles. The large one is called Laurentide, for the big glacier that covered the continent.
Okay.
And the others are, one is called Cracked Ice Muir, named for the glaciologist John Muir, and the other one is Cracked Ice Champlain, again, for upstate New York, which was shaped by a glacier. And so I'm building a series of these, and I want people to see them. And they're all precarious appearing, just to give a notion of that we're in a precarious situation. Right. So, of course, highly engineered, but appearing precarious. I'm working with someone who has some property upstate who has those boulders. It's sourced off of private property. And I mean, there's different ways of sourcing it. Most of the boulders upstate are, in fact, glacial erratic boulders.
Oh,
in Connecticut River Valley, I mean, there's enormous ones, and you walk up to them and say, what's this thing doing here? Yeah. And it's dropped by a glacier. There's no other apparent reason for being there. My sculpture comes from a point of geology, and often I go to a place, a location, maybe on a commission, and they ask me to build a sculpture, and I find something pertinent about the geology of the local place, and I source something there and incorporate it into the work that speaks to the situation of the location. But this is the first time I'm using these glacial erratic boulders. So I've been working on this project since 2019.
Okay.
And it is about to go forward with a number of pieces around town. Well, actually here. And but due to the pandemic, everything came to a halt for a few years.
Yeah.
And so then the GDA asked if I would do this. So we've launched the program. I'm very pleased how this went. It is a great location. It's wonderful working with the garment district, and it was wonderful.